This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Kari Lake, the governor candidate for Arizona, has described herself as Trump in a dress. And as repulsive as that image may be to you, it is not far off the mark, because she has followed the pattern and practice of Donald Trump. She has followed the standard operating procedure of an election denier, of a liar, of a grifter, of a charlatan. And she's proudly doing it. And in the wake of her loss to Katie Hobbs, the governor-elect of the state of Arizona, she is now out there making the rounds, talking about how she's going to fight this, using language that you would hear from Donald Trump about how this was stolen from her. But she couches it in a way that's, she's not going to fight for herself because she lost. She's going to fight for you, Arizona. She's going to fight for you because your vote was stolen. Again, no evidence that any votes were stolen whatsoever. She has not even a scintilla of proof. It's all claims, baseless lies, subterfuge, a distraction from the fact that she lost, in opposition to a devotion to democracy and America by extension. Here she is giving a solemn teleprompter read message with her weird soft filter, talking about how she's going to fight for Arizona, when really it's fighting for herself and against the United States.
To remedy this assault on our democracy. This isn't about Republicans or Democrats. This is about our sacred right to vote, a right that many voters were sadly deprived of on November 8th. Tens of thousands of you have reached out, pleading with me to fight this fight. Rest assured I will, because if we give up now, we will no longer have a country. Attorneys are working diligently to gather information. Whistleblowers are coming forward, and the curtain is being lifted. Whether done accidentally or intentionally, it is clear that this election was a debacle that destroyed any trust in our elections. Arizonans who choose to make their voice heard on Election Day should not be disenfranchised or punished for choosing to vote in person. Yet they were. I want you to know, Arizona, I will continue fighting until we restore confidence and faith in our elections.
Cry me a river, you grifter. Let's break down a couple of sentences here. This is about our sacred right to vote, a right that many voters were sadly deprived of on November 8th. To be sure, the right to vote is a sacred right. But she is a liar when she intends for us to believe that she holds it sacred when she is doing nothing but trying to disenfranchise Arizonans, Americans who voted for Katie Hobbs, who had their vote counted for Katie Hobbs. And then she goes on to say that a right that many voters were sadly deprived of. No evidence. That tens of thousands of people are coming around. That it is clear that this election was a debacle. If it's so clear, give us just one item that backs your claim. I mean, I was going to say we're drifting into Mike Lindell territory, but we've been there a long time. She might not seem as wild-eyed and crazed and conspiratorial and nutty AF as Mike Lindell, but rest assured she is. This is all pattern and practice of Donald Trump that she has adopted. Arizonans who choose to make their voice heard on Election Day should not be disenfranchised or punished for choosing to vote in person. To be sure. To be sure. Anyone who waits in line to vote should have their vote counted. Whether they show up, if the polls close at 8 p.m., if they show up at 7:59 and they're still in line, they should be able to vote. And this is why voting by mail and early voting is so important, because now you're hearing conservatives and Republicans whine and cry about long lines in voting, but by engineering, by design, this has been what Republicans have done for decades in black precincts, in communities of color. They make it more difficult. They shrink the number of volunteers. They shrink by thousands across the country polling stations, so it overwhelms the ones that remain open. And now, and by the way, Arizona, I've done videos on this. I'll throw up a screenshot of the thumbnail and the title, and that'll be down below. Arizona's one of these states that has en masse closed hundreds of polling stations. And now their handiwork has come back to bite them in their own ass. And they cry and whine. Yes, long lines can absolutely be voter suppression. Was it in this case? I do not believe so. But what have we witnessed across the country, from Texas to Georgia to Arizona? This very tactic used in a sinister fashion and deliberate fashion to suppress the vote. And now that some white Republicans are facing the ire of that, then it's like, harumph, we must do something about this. Cry me a river. Speaking of Mike Lindell, that she's drifting into Mike Lindell territory, here he is taking it a step further, that even Republicans who won their races should now be calling for a new election. Watch this.
Because that's just the way it should be. Anybody out there that won, any Republican that won in this country, in this race, should demand a new election themselves, in other states too. I mean, that's what we have to have. Paper ballots, hand counted.
A new election. Oh yeah, we need a new election. All the Republicans should say so. We need paper ballots. Notice that the states, the other states too he's talking about, are only where Republicans, that's what he means. States where Republicans lost, we need a new election, we need a redo. But states where Republicans won, that was fine. That was on the up and up. They're shameless. They are transparently charlatanistic. I don't even think that's a word, but we're going with it. Both of them. All of them. Kari Lake, Mike Lindell, Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, Donald Trump, the lot of them are anti-democratic trash. What do you think? I would love to know. I would love to know. Let's mix it up in the comments. That is the easiest way, of course. It also games the algorithm, so YouTube's like, oh, this is an important video that people are really engaged with. If you have more to say than you can say in a comment, though, call me, 714-576-4054. Leave me a voicemail, or you can email me at daily@dollemore.com. Both those are fantastic ways to get in touch. You can also clickety-clack on your keyboard or on your smartphone and tweet me at Dollemore. See what's going on Instagram at Dollemore, or follow me on TikTok at Dollemore. If I bring you some value, if I am your flavor of political commentator, if I'm not, if you're just here because, you enjoy it, but there's other people that bring you more value, go support those people. If you're a fan of Farron Cousins, go become a channel member and support that guy. But if I am your particular favorite, I don't know why I would be, but if I am, please consider supporting my work. Click the join button below, become a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month, or you can go over to my Patreon page and become a patron, patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. Happy to be taking a Thanksgiving break, and I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.